So I decided that we needed to be posting content on the YouTube channel even when I can't prepare longer videos. So I wanted to focus on deck highlights because I build a lot of decks, so why not show them off and talk about them? Most recently, I've been playing almost exclusively Galactus. We did a 15-hour Galactus live stream, which was awesome, but I haven't done anything Galactus related on the YouTube channel since he released. So I want to show you my current iteration of Galactus at the time of recording. So before we jump into some games, let's talk a little bit about how the deck is crafted. I've been theory crafting Galactus lists for a while, since before he was released, all the way back in the very early days of the beta. And my rough idea is that we would want to play our ramp card on turn 3, our Galactus on turn 5, and then on turn 6, put out as much power as we can. And that idea works really well, and it lets us run cards like Chavez, which effectively thins the deck. But as I experiment a bit more with Galactus, I feel like there's an optimized list with him that's a little bit more flexible. Something that tries to take advantage of both turn 6 and turn 5. Rather than hard committing to turn 5. To do this, we're running Shuri and we're running Hobgoblin. Together, these cards put 16 power, or negative 16 power on the opponent's side of the field, and with a strong Galactus follow-up, that's 19 power that the opponent has to catch up on, and they don't know that the Galactus is coming for sure. Whereas going into turn 6 most of the time, the opponent is aware that the Galactus has happened, and it's a little bit less surprising. Now, because we're running that Hobgoblin combo, I do think Wolverine is more or less a staple in the deck, so I've kept Wolverine. As for this specific build, there are a few cards that are relatively flexible that I'll probably change over the course of the month. Those being Sabretooth, which is less powerful now that we're not running the Valkyrie combo that I was initially running, and one of the ramp cards. Personally, I think the weakest of the ramp cards is Wave, but if we end up running Spider-Man in a final Galactus list, which I'm not sure if we do or not, but it's a card worth considering, Wave becomes infinitely more valuable than she is in a standard Galactus package because she opens up a unique line that is Wave, Galactus, Spider-Man. Now, that's a 3-card combo you need before turn 3, so personally, I don't think it's too strong, but it's something that I'm open to keeping in mind when evaluating Wave in the deck. I do have a version of the deck that I'm working on that uses both Spider-Man and Professor X, but that deck is a while away from being optimized, so I won't show you that deck in this video. I'm going to try and talk about a lot of my decisions when I play these games, how I'm thinking about different locations, how I'm thinking about different gameplay situations. Right now in my hand, I do have my ramp card, and I do have Galactus, so I'm going to have the option of playing Galactus on turn 4, 5, or 6, because the ramp card I drew was Wave. In this case, I do have Shuri in my hand, which makes me want to go for the turn 6 Galactus because I have Hobgoblin. We did hit Subterranea though, so the chances of us drawing Hobgoblin are lowered. Opponent plays Nightcrawler, and we draw Rock, so that's effectively one less card draw than we would normally have. If we weren't playing a Galactus deck at this point, I'd be happy to play out the Rock as a potential death proc after Destroyer, but I don't want to play out Rock because if I play out Rock, it limits my Galactus options, and I'd rather wait for more information before I commit units to a specific location. Ideally, we want to leave 2 locations open, that way we have 2 different options for Galactus. Opponent goes into a Maria Hill, so this deck probably has like a Devil Dinosaur in it, just because we've seen Maria Hill. That's 2 draws that we've missed out on thanks to Rocks. I do want to open up the potential of Wave next turn. I'm going to Wave, the potential of Galactus next turn, because this might be a game where we need to do Shuri Death to win the game. With that in mind, I'm going to Wave onto Danger Room, because just maybe she'll be a death proc here. Regardless, she's going to end up being a death proc because of Galactus. Opponent plays Lizard. So I've drawn Psylocke. I could wait a turn to Galactus now, because I could just play Psylocke this turn, and then Galactus the following turn. If I was to Galactus this turn, Death would go down to 1, 2, 3. She would go down to 6 cost, so she would be playable, regardless of what happens between now and turn 6. So I do kind of want to play this Galactus. Normally I would hold out, but our hand is so bad that I think this is our line. In fact, this line might be good enough that we should snap. I think this is a situation when we're going to snap. I'm not worried about any goblins from the opponent. It doesn't seem like the type of deck that would run goblins. Hit Black Panther. Black Panther is definitely a card I think we need to be careful of. Okay, we play Shuri now. I'm a little bit worried about Odin on the final turn. So we'll see what our opponent plays here. Our opponent passed. So I'll consider his range to be 22. Oh wait, sorry, I'll consider his range to be 28. Are we beating 28? We are beating 28. We're beating 28 by exactly 1, which is convenient. So we're going to death. The reason I'm considering his range to be 28 is because he passed his last turn, so we might be playing Infinite this turn. Or he might be playing... Oh, he passed. He retreated. So we're up 2 cubes at the moment. His other play could have been Odin. And Odin is also below 28. So knowing his range was 28, our death was always beating it. And then we could have also played a rock to prevent any goblins coming across to our side as well. So in these videos, we're going to keep track of cubes. And once I've either lost 10 cubes or gained 10 cubes, we're going to call it a video. We're up against Ryocho. Gamma Lab is generally a location we want to avoid. But it's also a location we don't really like playing Galactus into. I will say that Sabretooth and Wolverine feel a lot less powerful in the deck since we cut the Valkyrie strategy. For those who don't know, we used to run Valkyrie, and we would have a really cool Valkyrie turn 6 combo, but it lost to a lot of ongoing effects, so I decided to not build the deck in that way anymore. Neither of these 2 locations are good for Galactus. We can't really Galactus either of them. With that in mind, I'm going to play the Daredevil on Miniaturized Lab, treating it as my future destruction location. Whatever I play here is the only card that gets to live, because Wolverine and Sabretooth both going to Gamma Lab, they're essentially being destroyed because they're going to... Oh, wow. These locations are really bad for us. This is probably a retreat as soon as the cubes go up. In the meantime, though, I'm going to play Sabretooth on the right. Keeping in mind, though, I really don't think I'm winning. Hulk on the left, and a Dark Dimension card on the right. So we don't know anything about what the opponent's board state actually looks like. We are in a very bad position. I'm going to play both cards here to more or less threat something. I don't think this location's ever actually winning. I just want our opponent to think that there's a chance that we think we're going to win this location. It's kind of a narrow line that's almost certainly not going to work out for us, but it's the line we have to work with, so it's the line we have to go with. Okay. So he played this card on turn 3, this face down card. Daredevil's going to reveal some information to us. Our opponent's spending quite a long time thinking about this turn 5. He plays Leader. I need to think a lot about this. Who's going to have initiative going into the final turn? Or priority, I should say. He's going to have priority. So these cards here are going to flip before my cards. With that in mind, I want to play... Oh, wait. This is going to trigger on turn 6. So ignore that thought. What do I want him to copy on turn 6? I want him to copy Destroyer on turn 6. Either way, I think I Hobgoblin here. And we might just accidentally win the game here. Because now we go Destroyer, and his whole board's going to blow up. I think we just won. I'm kind of tempted to snap here, but I have very little information about his deck. It's also a turn 6 snap, so it's pretty bad. I think I'm just going to walk into turn 6. Our opponent arrows. This doesn't really affect us. It doesn't matter where this was going, because he's going to summon in his own Destroyer. So he summons in his own Destroyer, blows up his board, and then we win. Alright, that was perfect for us. Honestly, we probably could have got away with snapping there. The only reason I decided to not snap is because it was a turn 6 snap, and I didn't want our opponent retreating. Perhaps I should have snapped on the Daredevil information, but it kind of has the same problem as snapping on turn 6, where your opponent knows you have more information than them, and they're more likely to retreat than not. Alright, we're at plus 4 cubes now, 6 cubes to go. Oh, we've got a rematch against Rochu, or Rocho. I'm butchering this person's name, and I feel awful for it. Opponent plays Hood. Mindscape is definitely bad for us. We're going to want Galactus this game. We have Galactus in hand. Now, because Mindscape is a bad location for us to Galactus, most of the time, sometimes it's actually good if we have a bad hand and we'd rather have our opponent's hand. But because this location is bad for us, we're going to use this location as our destruction location, so we're going to put Wolverine down there. A Daily Bugle. Opponent might find out that we're running Galactus right now. We get a Yondu from opponent. That's actually pretty decent because Yondu is already a card we consider in the deck. I don't think he quite makes the cut, but he's considered at the very least. We'll play Electro in middle. Now we still have the option to play left or right. We're probably leaning to right most of the time, though, because Carnage is really good for the opponent on the left location. So we'd rather play Daily Bugle most of the time, I think. But we'll see how the game evolves, and we'll react to it as we go. Opponent plays his Yondu, takes out our Destroyer, and plays his own Demon. I'm going to play Sabretooth here, so that we can get him back into our hand for our final turn. And I'm relatively tempted to snap here. I think he'll do a Destruction turn on the left this turn. So I think he'll do, like, Deathlock or Carnage. And we should be able to win right, I think. That'll be 3 Destruction Parks, and then 2 more, and then 5. So we're going over... Assuming he does that Destruction turn, Galactus will put our death on 0 energy. So we'll have a pretty good time going into turn 6. I think this is a snap situation. There's the Destruction turn. That comes the Deathlock. That'll be 3 different death procs for our death. And then we'll have 5 more incoming. Oh, and perfect. We drew the Shuri, which is a great combo with our death. And I think we're winning this. We're going to Galactus on the right. This will take out Mindscape. Opponent's snapping. I think we're good here, so I'm going to stay in this game. We might get Goblined, but that would be a really... Or maybe we're getting arrowed here. If we get arrowed, then we lose. Not much we can do about it. We get She-Hulked. Okay. Now we need to do some math. We have Wolverine in play, taking up a slot. That's okay. We're now currently 10 behind the opponent. We're going to get 24 in play. No, sorry. We're going to get an additional 26 in play. So we're going to go to 32. So for our opponent to catch up, he would need to develop... I can't do math. Our opponent would need to develop another 16 power to catch up to us. I'm going to assume that we're okay here. This is actually a close call. Our opponent could be beating us. I'm going to play it out because I think it's fine. We might get, like, leaded or something. Oh, wait. Leader's bad for him. What's good for him? I'm not sure. We're okay. We're dodging Shang-Chi because he has initiative. Or priority. Some people call it initiative. Some people call it priority. I'm not sure what we're losing to. I'm trying to think at the moment. I mean, he'll have his own death. So he might play death and another card. Which does beat me. Yeah, I'm losing to death and another card. But play it out. Okay, just one card's good for us. Yeah, he only has Shuri. Okay, nice. I almost psyched myself out of retreating there, but I thought it was good enough. Pretty happy with that. Oh, that's +8. That's the video over. We hit 12 cubes in this video with 0 losses. Look at that. Back up to rank 150. We were 160 earlier on in the season, but I threw away cubes on the silly hot location. But yeah, that's a little bit of a breakdown of my current Galactus list. Again, I'm sure this is going to change over the course of the next month or so. I hope you enjoyed this Galactus video. If you did, let me know in the comments section. You keep being awesome, and I'll catch you in the next one.